What's the Not Your Finest Hour podcast? What is that all? I mean, I've heard stories.
Not Our Finest Hour podcast. One I'll have to check out one of these days when I get a minute to listen to it. I've been told it's not for everyone. I don't know. It's just the general reviews I hear on it, but it has been getting really good reviews.
And I've never personally listened to it, but I have heard it's not for everyone.
I listened to the Not Our Finest Hour podcast. Just great podcast. I've really enjoyed that.
I'm not endorsing anything. From what I said, from what Caleb told me, he said don't endorse anything unless you listen to it first.
I do once in a while listen in, and it's a lot of fun. But I do got to be careful. It is not for everyone.
Caleb Allman is always dropping notes that it's one of the most value-added shows out there.
Of course, through all the Not Our Finest Hour, you guys poking fun at so much different stuff is absolutely killer.
I don't feel any oppression tonight. In fact, I feel very free. The Not Our Finest Hour podcast. Thanks for being here.
Welcome to the beginning of the delayed podcast. I don't know if Mike even posted anything on Friday, or we just went dark for a week.
We went dark for a week. I thought you guys had left me, had enough of me after I hosted the Survivor there. You guys are like, screw this guy.
I went on a victory lap after winning. Basically, I took my $1 million from winning. Sir, I took my 30 bags of was it 30 bags of perma?
Yeah,
perma edge?
20 packs or something like that. Yeah,
20 packs of perma edge. I took it and I fucking went to the Caribbean, man.
You went to Las Vegas with it.
I took my perma edge to the Caribbean and I fucking partied like a wild man, and that's why there was no podcast last week. This is like in the last 10 days or how, I don't even know. I lost track of the days and the times, but a long time ago when I was like in my mid-30s, I used to play a pretty high level of hockey. I used to play A division hockey, men's league. And I played with the same Hydro guys every year. Every year they called me, and every year I went and played with them. And then I got to be like, I was like 34, 35, and I went to play with them one summer because it was a summer league we played in. And a slap shot came through the crowd and hit my shoulder, and they were like, that was a fucking amazing save, Mike. And I was like, I didn't even see the puck. I didn't even see it. It just hit me because I happened to be standing there. Like I didn't do anything. And that's when I knew that my time playing at that level with those kind of people was over. That I wasn't fast enough anymore, and I was too old, and I was hurt, and I wasn't in good enough shape, and I just wasn't going to be able to play that level anymore. And that was okay. And I feel like I've concluded after the last 10 days of no sleep and working 22 hours a day and all the stuff that's gone on in the last 2 days that this snowstorm may have been I'm too old and I'm past it experience similar to my hockey experience, that I can't be in my 50s and sleeping 2 hours a day for 10 days and survive. So I don't know if I'll ever do it again. I'm going to do a big assessment of how this actually went and then maybe retire from the winter trucking game next year. I don't know.
We don't get big storms like that all the time. Like that was probably a 10-year storm.
The same thing happened 4 years ago.
Did it?
60 centimeters. 60
Really?
centimeters fell in 24 hours, not over 2 days. It was actually worse than that one.
I feel like this one was bad. I got stuck in the driveway. Had to walk from the driveway all the way around to the shop, get in the skid steer and plow myself out. The snow drifts were up to my waist. I was cursing the entire way at 5 o'clock in the morning. Not a happy guy.
At 5 o'clock. I talked to Kelly about this whole thing, and she's like, you'll die doing this before you ever stop doing it. It's just part of you. So like saying that, you're going to not do it next year. She's like, saying you're going to work for one really good client and you're just going to do work for that one client. She's like, it's never going to fucking happen. Someone's going to call you and you're going to want to solve their problems and help them. And she's like, it's never going to happen. So just face the reality that you're going to take a couple years off your life every winter and hope you get to 60. So I said, probably a fair assessment. I'm 52. So I got 8 years. 8 fucking glorious years.
That's 2 brand new trucks you could pay off in that time.
I could pay off 2 brand new trucks in that motherfucking time. And then she said to me, why don't you try doing it a different way where you don't actually go out and drive the trucks? And I said, there's no fucking way that's happening.
No,
There is no fucking way I will send people out to work and not be with them.
I sent
I'd
Shane
rather,
out without me.
sorry.
I sent Shane out last night to work without me because
Yeah.
he
And
could use the hours and I could care less. And we only have one functioning truck apparently. So there's that.
that would be a problem. We also had a lot, like, to be fair, I feel like our fleet held up pretty good. I feel like I got a hole in the rad of my truck, but because it's so fucking cold out and you keep coolant in it, it just takes a half jug of coolant a night, but the truck's running. The little bin truck, it's the rocker is loose on the motor, so it's got like fucking oil pouring out of it. You got to put a couple liters of oil in it every day, but as long as you stay on top of it, it's all right. And Cody's truck blew the tranny line. I got out to talk to the loader operator the other night, and she had just left. And I looked on the ground and went, "Well, that's not fucking good." There's like a 3 foot wide puddle of tranny fluid. And I called her. I said, what the fuck's going on? That was a slow leak, but it ain't a slow fucking leak no more. Take that bitch home."
Is that the
She's
one that
like,
you tracked in the snow?
yeah, that's the one I tracked in the snow. That's like all she did was reverse it. You saw my fucking when she was parked, there was like a fucking 3 foot. I was like, thank God I got out. Like blowing that, like the tranny line was, I don't know. Brad replaced it today. Truck's good to go now. One of the international lost the heat, so the seats fucking torn out of it. I put a new blower motor in it. Fucking the only one that didn't knock on wood, like fucking fry itself, was the brand new one. So it all in all, I feel like the little truck, Glenn was driving it because his truck broke down and he backed it into a pile of snow and fucking crushed the whole back fender of it and the light bar, and which, whatever. I mean, it's whatever. I feel like no one got hurt and we didn't hurt anyone in 10 days or whatever. I don't even know how many days it was. For the whole time, no one got hurt and we didn't hurt. None of our people got hurt and we didn't hurt anyone. So I'm going to call that a fucking win. What was realistically going on was pretty intense. So the guy, and all the people who plow for a living and go out and do it, like I think that the world doesn't respect them enough.
I agree.
Like I honestly, I just don't think people they see someone plowing the sidewalk and they're just like, oh, guys plowing the sidewalk. I mean, you know how unfunctional society would be without these fucking people?
I'll agree.
Like,
Except for those people who are out with their truck and their little trailer and they pull their hand job snowblower off the back in the middle of the fucking on the side of the road. Those people can suck a dick. They're fucking idiots. I don't care. They drive me.
yeah, they do cause a lot of chaos. I think I agree with you. I think they do cause a lot of chaos. Yeah, it was an intense experience. I think there's probably a lot the other thing that happened to me too is I very rarely say no to anybody for anything. I try to help everyone that calls. And I had to say no a lot because we have clients that steadily hire us every year and hire us a lot and take care of us, and the demands on them and then the demands on us were much higher than normal. And so I stayed true to all of our clients that we always deal with, and a lot of people fucked off to the city of Toronto, and because the city of Toronto is paying big money to remove snow but I felt like all the people who have always been loyal and good to us are the people that we should stay with, and we should do the right thing. And I don't want to work for weird people in Toronto that I don't fucking know too, because I'd have so much anxiety about not getting fucking paid. Like, people were texting me like, I guess we got posted on some Facebook group as a person to call for snow removal. So like I was getting like tons of, and people are texting me, and I'm like, this one guy's like, I need 6 trucks, and I'm like, okay, cool. Like send me a, because it's all just a phone number. I'm like, I Google the phone number, it comes up as nothing. Like it doesn't show even a provider. So I'm like, okay, so send me a website, send me a hard address, send me an invoice email, send me a company name. And the guy just kept sending back, Adrian, 120 an hour, 6 trucks and an address. And I'm like, yeah, dude, like, why would I do that? Like, what about you? Am I fucking stupid? Like, obviously, you're never paying that bill.
Yeah. Yeah. Some
Like,
people,
why would I? Like, I just, the amount of stupidity that just in the last 10 days, with stuff like that, is just outrageous. Like, it's whatever. Anyways, what have you, Mike? You were at peak. How the fuck was that?
I was at Peak today. It was really good. They put on an excellent show 2 years running.
Were you on the panel?
I was on the panel. I got the Not Our
What did
Finest
they
Hour
ask you?
plug-in.
What did they ask you?
What did they ask me? What has contributed to your uh, profitability, your success? I didn't say as much as the other two people because the other two people were much more qualified than me to talk about that. But
Who were they?
they were Matt Bell from Gellers, Winnipeg, and he did a talk. No, he didn't kick things off. So Rob from Intrigue kicked things off, and then he went after, and he had a really good presentation. That was probably the best one of the show. And then he was on the panel too. He has a $10 million business in Winnipeg, I want to say. Um, and he's got a really good story. He got cancer when he was like 21, skin cancer, and continued running his business even with that. And it came back, and he continued running his business. So he has a really good story and provided a lot of good insights. And same thing on the panel. And then Kevin, who is Muskoka Landscapers, he is also the wealthy landscaper there. He was on the panel.
Oh yeah. And how was that guy?
He was good. He's been on my podcast before, so I kind of have a little bit of insight on him, and he's got multiple businesses, I believe.
did you ask him to prove how he was wealthy?
No, I did not.
Oh,
I just talked about marketing, YouTube, and budgeting. That's all I stuck to.
How come you didn't do a presentation?
I wasn't asked to do a presentation.
How did you work this podcast in?
Very first thing, I figured I'd get it in as soon as possible because good thing because at the end there was no time for plugs. So they asked me to introduce myself. I said, Mike, I own a small landscaping company, Ever After, and I'm an owner operator. So I'm in the field. And I also have this How to Hardscape thing and a podcast with two others called Not Our Finest Hour. And that's how I got my plugs in.
Well, you didn't name drop me or Chad. Thanks fucking lot.
I didn't. I felt under pressure.
What, under pressure to not to make sure that Paver King and the Landscape Daddy weren't mentioned? Are you trying to say that Carr didn't want us there?
I was surprised that you weren't coming, PK. I was hoping I'd had somebody there to
Dude,
be with.
I had a lot of shit going on. I would have liked to have gone. It was one of my favorite events last year. I would have loved to go back. We still hadn't unburied all our shit out of the yard.
Wow.
10 days later. So we had to, and Andrew was taking the float out tonight because he had to go get a backhoe and then float it to the site and then work on the site, and then fucking was a bit of chaos. So I had to go dig the trailers out, shovel them off. Fucking, that's all stuff we usually do the day after the storm. But I actually went out and plowed snow during the storm too. One of our clients was short an operator, so I went in, came out of retirement, plowed snow for about 14 hours.
You shouldn't say that on this podcast.
No, I was doing it for someone else. It had nothing to do with me.
Oh, doing it. Okay, gotcha.
They needed an operator to run a skid steer.
You spent 14 hours in a skid steer.
Yeah.
That's miserable. 2 hours in a skid steer is miserable.
Mm.
Not for me. I'd rather be in a plow truck than a skid steer, I think, in a storm.
Really?
No one less. You can't get out to get a coffee in a skid steer or drive to get a coffee. So that's the worst part. That and it's loud and uncomfortable.
Mm. It didn't I like running a skid steer. The only problem I had with it was that it was a cat skid steer. And it took me a bit to figure out the ergonomics of moving all the seats and stuff. Once I got comfortable, and it only works in that ISO pattern. So that was a little bit challenging for the first hour.
But do you run hand and foot?
No, I run H pattern.
H pattern.
Yeah. So like our machines go back from H pattern to ISO, right? So you can do both. But CAT apparently hasn't achieved that level of technology in their machines. Maybe one day they can aspire to have the same level of technology as a Bobcat, but whatever. I guess they're just not able to do it, or I don't know why they wouldn't do it. It seems like it's pretty easy. Like in ours, it's just a button. It'll do either one. So, or though maybe they're a big company and they're like, either run this or get the fuck out of our equipment, which also could be their attitude. I ran it for 12 hours. I would never buy one, but that's my opinion on it. Like, I found it weird and awkward, but I also only did it for, maybe if I had one and I owned it and I ran it for a while, I would like it better. But it has a really goofy way of opening. You got to like push this like seemingly like insanely cheap red button up and then push this other button down to get the forks to open, like to get the quick attach to work. I'm like, I don't know. This just seems like really cheap for the biggest machine producer in the world. But again, I don't know. It wasn't, I didn't like it, but that's, not everyone likes everything. That's why the world goes round. So I'm sure the guys that buy them fucking love them and would hate my two skid steers.
I really want to like them because I love the yellow. I want yellow equipment, but I just don't like anything that's made yellow.
I didn't, yeah, I agree. I don't know. I didn't, it was brand new too. It was a brand new one. So it was like I'll say this. I did find eventually a way to make the seat comfortable. So you're sitting really high up. It's a different perspective, I think. You're not sitting like, I think in our skid steers, you sit lower and you just have a different range of vision than in those ones. But again, like I could see if someone grew up running cat skid steers, why they would fucking love them. But for me, also to be fair to the cat skid steer, it was a intense snowstorm during the day. So there was like cars and people and white vans everywhere. And like, I'll say this, man. They don't shut down those white delivery vans for no fucking reason. The whole city's grinding to a halt. 100 vans headed out, man. Getting those fucking packages out. No fucking stopping. Like it just, the vans are still pounding out the door mid snowstorm, sliding all over the road. You got to avoid them. It was a intense experience. So maybe if I spent more time in it, I would like it better, but I'm not signing up to sell our Bobcats to get one. I'll say this. I like them. I find Kubotas to be rattly. The doors are rattling. The whole it's like, blah, 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 blah. The whole thing's kind of rattly. And Kubotas are also really slow. They're just slow moving machines, which is like fine. At the price point, I would say that's fine because they're also like the cheapest machine you can buy, right? So there's going to be a give and take on that kind of stuff. I like the cat better than the Kubotas. That's what I would say.
Really?
It was definitely a better machine than a Kubota, but not as good as this Bob. This is just my opinion. This is not fact, but it wasn't as good a machine as the Bobcats, but it was a better machine than the Kubotas. Except the door was kind of weird. The thing I do like about the Kubota is the door. But then that's the thing that rattles and makes it in, because I went and float moved one of our clients brand new SVL 97s. Like, this is brand new, top of the line, right off the factory floor. And as soon as I got it in, I was like, this thing is brand new and has no hours on it, and it's already a rattly piece of shit. Rattle, 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 rattle. I'm like, just trying to put it in the bin. And I'm like, holy fuck, I'm deaf from this door rattling. Like, what the fuck? Is there no better technology here? Like, this thing was probably $100,000. Like, like you can't stop the door from fucking rattling.
Are
Like,
you sure it
really?
was closed all the way, the door? Because like you
No,
can
I don't. I run them with the door open.
whenever
I
that
don't like
door
the.
closes.
I don't like the door closed. I run them with the door open.
Oh, well, that's your own fault.
No, I think that the door. You think you should be able to have the option of having the door open. It's still rattly even with the door closed, but it's just a cheaper product. Is all that it is, right? It's a less expensive product. So
Yeah.
like it's, and the thing is, you're trading technology and rattly stuff for reliability, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right. So like you're just make like, even in it, like it has this weird backup camera that's clearly some addition that someone figured out in Japan because they don't have anywhere to actually put a backup camera. So it's this like TV screen that's like sticking on the side of the machine. I'm like, what the fuck? Why even have this? It's
Might have
awkward
it
and
built
weird. Built into what?
into the machine.
Like in the screen, or is it a separate like
No, it's in
TV
the
thing?
like in the display screen, your touch screen where you can move everything around.
Oh, really? I don't know. This one didn't. Maybe it's not as new as I thought it was. It looked new.
Uh, I don't
Maybe
know.
it's not. I don't know. I found it with just like, I was like, I didn't really like this cat machine. And then I was reminded how much I don't really like Kubota machines afterwards. I was like, but then there's people who hate my machines, right? So you do. You
Yeah,
fucking hate, you hate
I
Bobcat
hate a
machines.
bobcat.
I know. So
I hate a bobcat. We might
but
even
see,
switch
like the
hundreds.
sorry.
We might even switch our MT100s, and I think that's the only good thing that Bobcat makes.
Yeah. See, but you don't like, I, I'm not upset that you don't like my machines. There's
Why would
people
it
who get,
like?
oh, there's people who get livid about it. People want to be critical of them and cut them up and say they're pieces of shit. I'm like, cool, man, you do you.
Of all the things to worry about, why
Oh,
worry
people
what
get,
someone else thinks of your machine?
I don't know. People get worried about that fucking shit, I guess.
Hey, let them
I'm not
worry. As
worried.
long as it pays my bills, I don't care.
As long as you're making money and you enjoy running it. Like, I don't even really run the machines anymore that
Yeah,
much. So what do I
I don't.
fucking care?
I don't enjoy running a skid steer at all. I hate them. I'd rather be in a shovel any day of the week. But if they're making me money and the guys aren't calling me to say, "Hey, this machine shit the bed again," then that's great. That's what we need.
That's exactly what you need. I agree. One of the good things about our current situation, like I was thinking about like how fucked up it was when we used to move snow compared to now. Like now, like we're at the dump site and one of the trucks, the snow's sticking in the box, and we're 5 minutes from our yard, and we have an 8-ton excavator there that has a big smooth blade put on it, perfect for cleaning out truck boxes. So we just run over, clean out it out, and start. And like that used to be like a big problem when the snow was stuck in the box, right? You got to get out and shovel and fucking. Now I'm like, just go to the yard, clean that fucking thing out, and I'm like, man, like
Yep.
3 years ago that would have never happened, and it just like that. This storm made me realize how far we come and being organized and ready for these kind of things. All of our trucks have air gates on them, so we don't have to fucking use use fucking bins and open them and close them every time, and like all this. I in January, I had reached a point between having all this stuff that was ready to do snow moving that we weren't really using, that I had invested a lot of money in, and having this dump site that we had created and built and invested a lot of money in, and creating a big gravel pad for turning around so that if, right now the temperature is warm, you could still dump snow at our dump because you're not in the field, you're in the gravel, right? And I was like, man, I feel like I've wasted all this money doing this. And I was feeling pretty like I was pretty much a fucking moron. Like, why am I doing this shit? Like, I'm so fucking stupid. This has not paid out. And because last year it was obviously not good. And this year it had been okay, but it was still, I was like, why am I fucking doing this? I got to find something different. And then this storm happened. And I was like, I feel somewhat justified in my mind.
Yeah.
Pretty self deprecating and filled with hatred. But it was a little bit less. So I was like, oh, look at Cody go with her bin and not have to get in and out of her fucking truck.
Yep.
We only lost one sideboard too, which I think is pretty good.
Ooh, yeah.
One got fucking smashed. But they're painted purple and they're like 2x12s. They're fucking expensive as fuck. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, God.
Yeah, we have like custom sawn, like I don't even know what they were. They're from like big Douglas fir beams that came from somewhere. So they're
Mm.
like 3.5 inches thick and like 16 feet long. Beautiful wood, right? Like if someone smashes them, it sucks to like replace them because they take like 5 coats of paint because it just sucks it in the
Yeah.
old lumber and you want them to look good, but whatever.
And I was like, I don't even know if we have any more of that purple paint. I was in the yard with Ricky today and I was like, push that board in and slam it back down. And I think if we put a board on the back and screw it to it, we can save the board.
They're more expensive than you'd think. Like some guys double up or just like stack 2x4s on end.
Yeah.
That's expensive too. Because they're like 16-foot 2x4s, right?
Yes.
They're like $30 a piece, $40 a piece.
So at a minimum, we have a tab in the middle of our truck so that the boards don't have to be super long.
Oh yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we can put two eights together or however long that bin is. I think that bin is 18 feet long or something. So I guess it's two by like 2x12x10s on it,
Yeah.
cut down to fit in. So because Paul welded a tab in the middle. That bin has worked really good though. So that's good.
Beauty.
That heat block cord burning out could have ended
Oh,
a
I
little bit
forgot about
worse.
that. Yeah, that turned out as good as I think it possibly could have. Yeah, totally forgot about that happening. I was just looking at that truck's license plate going, oh God, we got to get a new license plate, which is a big hassle because you got to re-register with the 407 and it's like there's a whole bunch of shit. But yeah, the driver came in and found the extension cord that was plugged into that truck like 4 feet from the truck. And it exploded off the truck and shot across the yard.
Wow.
And then the truck was obviously like on the verge of being torched. So I feel like that all worked out as well as it could have.
Yeah. Hmm.
Like that worked out pretty well, I think, in the end. I forgot about that, Mike. Yeah, something that happened to us. Absolutely. Something that went down. It's been a wild. When you know that you've been up, and I'm sure it happened to lots of people during this time, you know you've been up a long time when you've totally lost track of days. Like it's supposed to snow on Thursday this week. So Andrew plows the 407, and I thought it was already Wednesday. And I was like, fuck, go out tonight, float the backhoe or Spencer, fucking. But like by the time he moves snow all night, I don't want him driving the backhoe all the way back to Markham. So I'm like, bring it back to the yard, park it, come in when you wake up, take it to Markham, back to Markham for or Richmond Hill or whatever the fuck he picked it up, then come back to the yard, drop the float, then go home and sleep so that if you have to plow, but it's actually only fucking Tuesday. So none of that matters. Me and him were both like figuring out the best way so he could get some sleep before he went out on the 407. But really, tomorrow is Wednesday. It's not even fucking snowing tomorrow. He can just come in whenever he wants and fucking take the thing back. Fuck. Really? I lost track of what day it is, which I'm sure I'm not the only person. I got in an argument with someone halfway through of what day it was. I don't remember who that was.
Hmm.
I am appreciative of the clients that waited for us and all the people that called us. So I'm sure it'll be, I'm going away on the 15th of March. So everyone can rob my house then. Other than we have like a crazy livestock dog here. So I would suggest that you bring some kind of body armor with you because she will eat you if you come in the house. But I'm like, the whole time I was doing this, is like, well, we're gonna go away for 5 days. Cause you start to realize like how hard that's this, like all these people that are plowing snow, how hard it is on your life expectancy, your fucking family, your wife. Like it's crazy.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
You gotta have a
And see my
patient family at home to do
yeah.
that.
At least my wife was doing the invoicing, so she understood what we were trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I can see how it must be hard on people whose wives aren't involved in the business. Like it must be just horrible. Then you're gone and gone and gone and gone. Like
And you can't
that,
control when you're home either. Like you're done when you're done. That's it.
yeah. One of our guys plowed for 31 hours straight for the guy he plows for.
Yikes.
Never went home. 31 hours. And I was talking to the guy he works for, and he goes, yeah, he called me after like 22 hours and was like, hey, man. I said, yeah. He's like, would it be okay if I went and got a coffee? Like, would that be okay if I just shut it down and went and got a coffee? And he said to him, I don't care if you go fuck a stripper. You've been doing this for 22 hours, man. Do what you got to do. Like, just come back. Like, like, that's a, I think too in Ontario, it's such an unreasonable expectation. Like this like black asphalt expectation.
Yeah.
Like snow falls, it comes, and then you plow it. Like when I was a kid, snow fell, and sometimes people would still be plowing the snow like 2 days later, and everyone was fucking thrilled when you showed up. Like
Well, now they
when I
just get on
first,
Facebook and say, "Where's my snow guy? I have the worst snow guy. He's awful. He hasn't come. It's been 3 hours." You
yeah,
with the Facebook, you can't do that now. You have to be there yesterday, like right away. You
yeah.
can't let it sit.
People are. I think it's an unreasonable. Plus, there's like this big salt shortage going on too, right?
Yeah, I don't think
That
we
big.
have.
You don't have a salt shortage?
I don't think so. I
Everyone
haven't
in
heard
Ontario.
anybody complain. But
Oh,
we
everyone
also
in.
here, everybody takes care of their own salt. Like there's no salt depot that you go to in Cornwall. Everybody who does snow takes a sea can and stacks it full of salt or has a dome or something, but there's no salt depot in the whole city that you can go to and buy salt.
Really?
Yeah,
You should start a salt depot.
if I wanted to ruin more of my equipment, absolutely. It kicked the piss out of the Bobcat that we had. That thing was so rusty, and it only loaded salt for 2 seasons.
Mm.
And we sold it to Alberta or Manitoba, some concrete company in Manitoba, I think.
Why would a concrete company in Manitoba buy a skid steer from Cornwall? That seems bizarre.
I don't know. They saw it online. They wanted it. It was still a great machine. It was just not a great machine for us.
I think it was. I think you're being kind.
Well, it, we got what it was worth. So I got a call
Mm.
last Tuesday well, I was about to go to bed, and the owner of the second biggest excavation company in Cornwall called me, and he said, "Can you come fill up my bulldozer?" Like, what? He's like, St. Pierre's, who is apparently the company that runs like the shell trucks, the fuel trucks. He's like, they said they'd be here for 3 days straight and they haven't been here. And we're at the city snow dump pushing the snow and the bulldozer's empty. I'm like, does it have to be done right now? He's like, no, it can wait till the morning. What time are you awake? I'm like, well, I get up at 5. He goes, can you come shortly after that? I'm like thinking to myself, you own the second biggest excavation company in Cornwall, multi-million dollars. Like I'm talking probably 50 million a year, and they don't have one slip tank in their whole company. I'm just like, this is ass backwards. But I'm like, yeah, I'll be there in the
It
morning.
seems really weird that they don't have a slip tank.
They don't
Yeah.
have a slip tank.
How do you how do you invoice for that?
Well, I thought about it. I said, what do you want to do about the fuel bill? He goes, oh, well, they filled us up. He's like, we can run you cash. You can invoice us, or you can just come to the yard and fill up your slip tank again. I said, well, that's probably the most fair thing to do. Um, I'll come by and fill up the slip tank. So,
But if they have fuel at their yard that's close enough for you to drive and fill your slip tank, They
No,
don't
no,
have a way to transport the fuel from their yard to the.
it only got filled up days later at the yard. So now that their tanks have been
Oh,
Uh,
I see.
filled,
gotcha.
now I can come and fill mine. But I mean, the things you do in the winter, favors.
I went and plowed snow.
I unstuck my other buddy's big construction company's plow truck from his brand new property, slid off the concrete pad and into the ditch.
Thanks.
So I've been doing favors all over the place. We
So
Go ahead.
no, you go ahead. You're on a roll.
We got asked to move some snow for another contractor at the Ford dealership. My friend Pat from Jack Pine had us in on that, and we were bringing all the snow back to our yard. So we got 20 bucks a load to dump the snow at our yard. And I have another friend who's dumping for free. What do you think of that? Should he be paying to dump the snow at my yard?
I don't know what the going rate is out there.
Well, apparently it's peanuts compared to what you guys are getting, but
I would say the average rate here is at least $100 a load.
yeah, there's no way we'd get that here. The big quarry will take it for 20 bucks a load. So, I'm happy to take it for 20 bucks a load. But I think in the future, if we're going to take it at 20 bucks a load, my truck has to be running it too. Because right now they're dumping it at the yard for free and not using our truck to haul. So we're making absolutely nothing. And I think that's a little unreasonable.
I think that what's going to happen is when all that snow melts, you're going to spend a lot of time in your yards in the spring picking up garbage,
Yeah,
and you're also salt impacting your land pretty bad,
yeah,
and you're not getting paid for it. And
yeah.
that's why around here people want like a lot of money to dump snow because you're going to end up that snow, no matter where it came from, is fucking stuffed full of garbage.
Fucking disgusting.
You're
Yeah, oh, yeah,
picking up wrappers and cans and all kinds of shit. You're going to pick up all that stuff.
yeah,
So that's the first reason I would tell you need to charge because you need to at least pay someone unless you're going to personally go pick up the garbage and
I know. That's an even
do.
more waste of money, is having me do it.
Well, you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
So, and then on top of that, you're salt impacting your land. So you're affecting the viability of reselling your land.
it's right in a parking lot, so I'm not concerned about
But
something ever growing there. But yeah, I know
no,
what
I'm
you
not talking about growing. I'm talking about when you go to sell that 10 acres and someone does soil testing and they drill in the parking lot and this parking lot is salt impacted, then they're going to say that your land is table two and that's going to affect the overall value of your land. So if you're going to affect the overall value of your land and have to run around picking up fucking Mars bar wrappers, you should probably charge for that motherfucking shit.
mean.
Is
Yeah,
what I'm saying. Like
yeah,
50 bucks a load to me would probably be fair.
yeah.
Why would you let anyone do it for free?
Because he gave us the work the first time around, and then now he's doing it on his own.
Hmm.
Got himself a truck, hauling it himself. And I'm still very new at this, right? Like we're not snow hauling guys. We're guys that have a truck, or well, what we thought was two trucks is apparently one truck. We thought we could
What's wrong with the other truck?
wouldn't fucking start. Two brand new batteries. Mind you, it was minus 20 some out.
Did you plug it in?
Yep.
It still wouldn't start?
Yeah, it's an old truck. Like it's a 2005, right? So
R06 has a C7 in it, which is like, according to Brad, who I trust, the worst motor on the planet to start in the cold. He said, like, if it's the middle of the summer and someone throws a cup of ice cubes under the truck, it won't fucking start. And that was an exact quote from Brad Wade. If you throw a couple ice cubes under this motherfucker in August, it won't start. And when we plugged in, and it wouldn't start. Well, that was the one that caught on fire. So I tried to start it the day that the plug was still burnt, and then Brad came and quickly replaced the fucking plug.
hmm. Now this has a DT 466. Doesn't want to start.
Um, so
Chad, you got
when
yourself
you,
a new tattoo
Did I? Where?
on your neck? No?
Oh, yeah, I got my throat tattooed.
Yeah,
All started. So we'll see how many jobs that cost me this year.
yeah.
No. That's one thing that's great about being a commercial contractor is nobody knows what you look like whenever you're bidding work.
Right.
It really doesn't matter. So shouldn't affect me too much. At this point, we we're established enough that the way I look doesn't sink the business anymore. Or maybe it will. Who knows?
but what does it matter? The work you do now, like, is almost solely based on, um, being the low price.
Yeah, commercially, you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, which is good. We've been bidding so much stuff. Jack's gonna get a second house because of us, I think, with the amount that we're sending him and my partner sending him, and like there's just so much out there, it seems. He we bid one for this new district in Ottawa or something like that, and it's full of Corten steel. He's like, "Do you want to bid this stuff?" I'm like, "Not really. Not if it's affected by tariffs and shit like that, and
Uh,
I don't want to be held to the price, and let's let the GC deal with that."
yeah.
It's a whole bunch of stuff that we don't know how to do. We've never done before, like wet laying cobble pavers and stuff.
Oh, we did that in a driveway like 2 years ago. It was, but it was like the Unilock cobbly looking pavers, and Ricky had to wet
Okay.
lay it all on cement, and
Yeah,
it was a bitch because the cement, like, it should have been like a half inch of mortar everywhere,
yeah,
but because they fucked up the cement heights, or whoever fucked it, was the cement heights were fucked. I don't know if it was someone's fault. I'm not blaming anyone for it. Blah blah blah. But the cement heights were fucked. So in some places he was ending up with 6, 8, 12 inches of mortar,
yeah.
What?
Just
which,
to,
like, trying to keep it level, and then, like, the client was complaining because we were doing it by the hour, was complaining it was taking him so long. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like, what do you want him to do? Like he's trying to level 12 inches of mortar on a perfect slope, and you're like, it was a fuck show doing that.
yeah, this is haywire. And then to kick it all off, they want glycol runs underneath to like heat the pavers or whatever
Yeah,
over. And I'm just like, this is a fucking shit show, Jack. Whatever you think this is worth, add 15%. Like,
I agree. Yeah, it was a fucking shit show.
if we win, it'll be by some fucking miracle and we're gonna figure it out, or we lose and we're happy to walk away
Right. Are
because
those
it's
all?
almost a
Go ahead.
season.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like 200 days or something of this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I'm just like, could you imagine tying up a full season with something that is a complete headache? Like that would make you hate your job.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'd do. And we'd have to upsize because it would drive me nuts just being there every day. I couldn't do it. The problem is we're bidding all this stuff and we have no clue whether we have time to do it or not.
Is it all for end of 2025 that you're bidding right now?
It's probably 2025, 2026, and beginning of 2027
Oh,
between all
wow.
the stuff that we're doing. And like projects could be conflicting and you don't know. And just because it said this is the date on the paper doesn't mean that's the day that is going to go ahead, right?
Yeah.
Like, so what do? You either, if you don't bid it, you lose it and they don't ask you to bid it anymore, or you do bid it and figure it out. So, and you don't even know if your numbers are good because if you want to be aggressive because you don't have enough work this year, well, you're too late already. You should have been bidding aggressive last year,
Mm.
right? So, I don't know. There's definitely someone better than me who knows what they're doing, but this is how things have run so far.
Yes.
And we're going up against companies who actually know their shit a lot of the times, right? So we're small fish
PK,
playing in
are
a big
you bidding a lot of commercial right now? Or
Yeah,
is Jack?
Jack's been bidding a shit ton of stuff, sending me emails. Well, I'm like, I've committed to like almost $3 million in different pricing within like like a haze of only having slept for like 6 hours in 5 days. And I'm like, Jack's like, check out this spreadsheet. And I'm like, I don't know, like, send that bitch. Full send, man. Because I'm looking at it and my eyes are squinting and I'm falling asleep, smashing my head, and I'm like, man, I only have 2 hours before I have to go back out. How much time can I spend on this? But one of the jobs was like 1.7 million. I'm like, go for it, Jack. I looked at it. It seemed to make sense. I trust them. I was like, fucking go for it. We're either gonna win or we're gonna bankrupt on this son of a bitch. Like
How about
Jack's a
you?
very well, Chad would tell you, Jack's a very thorough guy.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
trust him. He doesn't, I think that in like all the stuff he bid last year, I think that there was one time he forgot to mark up some trees. That was it. Like that's the sole sum of problems we had. Like, yeah, okay, so we lost the markup on 8 trees. Holy fuck, man. We are gonna like lose our house. We're fucked. Like it just Jack does a great job, so I trust him and I like but
Yeah.
I like he's priced a ton of shit and I'm looking at it going, I don't know if we like I was like, so
Did you see the
anyways.
numbers for that one we bid together?
No, he hasn't sent them to me yet. I guess because I'm just a third partner.
Oh, well.
Well, he's like, this
He
is the
said maybe
partnership.
PK is okay with these. I sent them in
Maybe
anyway, so he's like, yeah,
okay.
you can.
So to be fair, maybe I did look at it, Chad, and I don't remember. There's a distinct possibility I did. Jack and I had a good talk about it. So you're still registered as from success to everyone in the chat. What is that, Chad?
I don't know. It's there now. I don't know. I changed it 3 times. It always comes back to success. Must be a sign.
Success for success for everybody. I he did call me. We did have a long conversation about it. I just have no memory. I'm like Paul Correa after he got knocked out by Scott Stevens and then scored the winning goal and doesn't remember it. Like literally has no memory of all of that part of his life happening. I'm that guy. I know we talked. I don't remember the conversation, but Jack, I know, called me because he wanted to make sure I understood how a partnership with you guys would work. And I'm like, I feel like me and Chad and Lionel could sort it out. I think it'll be all right. I think we can all.
It's anyone we've ever brought in as like the third contractor has done well. Like they're like, oh, this really works. It's a surprisingly good system for partnership.
It sounded like it would be great.
It's
I was, I said to my opinion on it was that Chad is a smart guy. I'm assuming his partner is a smart guy, and anything we can do with them, I would think is awesome. If they want to expand west, well, we expand east, and we meet in the middle, and we all help each other out. I think that's a fucking great arrangement. I
no, that's
love
not
it.
too far from you. Like it's way closer for you than it is for us.
Oh, yeah, it's super closer. Yeah,
How do I
yeah,
get
it's
in
like
on this?
what
Well,
is
there's no pavers on the job, but you're welcome to come plant
Oh,
some trees.
it's Port Hope, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is that
yeah.
closed yet? I think that job is closed.
Port Hope from our yard is probably an hour, but
Yeah,
it's a
that's
good hour because it's a controlled hour.
hmm.
Like we can go from our like it's a controlled hour because it's like there's no traffic. Like if you say it's an hour into Toronto, it could be an hour one day, an hour and a half, an hour and 15. Like going to Port Hope for us is probably an hour, but it's a nice controlled hour. They know what time they leave the yard, they know what time they get to site, they know what time they leave site, they know what time they get home. Barring some tragic circumstance. Like barring that, they know what time they get home.
is 1 hour within the let them stay at the at Port Hope overnight? Or what's the bar for overnight stay?
Jack and I discussed staying overnight because I think that an hour we could probably justify them staying because they always end up working an hour longer, an hour and a half longer every day. So I think that if you add up that hour and a half for 5 days, you're essentially getting a whole nother day. So, that's an extra level of production. I also think that our team in particular, does really well with being away and being productive. I think they all seem to really like it and enjoy it. So I think that that's um, also something that we should factor in. That it's something they would. I think a lot of people on our team would prefer to be away every day, every week, Monday to Friday, and then come home on the weekends.
This could be a NDL and Paver King bunk together. Employees all at Port Hope for the project.
You can put them up in an Airbnb and put cameras everywhere and
Yeah.
how they get along. It's like a Big Brother thing or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah. Imagine the content you get out of that.
absolutely.
Half my guys stoned out of their fucking heads. From the minute they get back to the Airbnb. Yeah.
Hey, it's all legal.
Yeah. Not on the job, but after they do what they want after.
They're all legal.
Yeah.
So
So we'll see. We haven't heard it. We tend to never hear about anything, whether we win it or not, until much later.
yeah,
Like, I don't think they appreciate how much the subs like to know when they get the job.
we had one that we know that we closed it with a client. We know they won the job. After they won the job, they emailed us asking for a schedule of production and how many days we would be on site, which to me means we were probably low and they probably carried our number. Yes.
Yeah, I'd say
Seems
so.
reasonable. I'd say it seems
Yeah.
reasonable. And now it's like radio silence. But Jack has made a valid point. He's like, well, they don't need us and they don't care. Like, to us, it's a big contract. Like, I think it's like 500 grand. So to us, it's a big contract, right? But to them, it's a meaningless part of it's a meaningless amount of money on the overall contract. So they're like, they don't care about us till they need us there. They don't, maybe the overall contract's worth like 15 million. So they don't give a shit about the landscaping till they need to give a shit about it. So they're just not communicative with you.
Or until they need to collect their whole back 2 years later. And there's
Yeah,
one
yeah, yeah.
landscape item that's not done.
There's one dead tree.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
there's one dead tree. So
We're always the last to be
um,
thought about, the landscaper.
yeah. Yeah, until they really need us.
Yeah.
So um anyways, well, I guess we'll see. I think it would be fun to do a job together. I'd be pumped about it.
Yeah. I think that'd be cool. Not fun for the travel for us, but somehow we always make it work. Just make it
Maybe we
work.
could just rent out a whole floor of a hotel,
Yeah.
get a good price on it, bulk pricing.
I'm sure Jack could negotiate that. But
I would put him in charge of it for sure.
yeah.
That's who I would put in charge of it.